What they call you, where you from, nigga?
Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another Kicking It session. Today I got my man Map to Success. He reached out to me about a week and a half ago or so. He wanted to come on and do a Kicking It session, talk about little Digibyte, new TRON apps. Thanks for joining me on this Kicking It session this Saturday.
Good,
What's up, man?
good. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
Always an honor.
Yeah, man. So, tell me a little bit about you, man. You've been following, been commenting on my channel for a bit now. Just kind of let me know, how do you find my channel? How did you get into crypto? All that good stuff, man. We just kick it off like that.
Okay, well, I'm actually trying to kick up a little mini storm in the crypto space,
Okay.
trying to get my name out there.
No doubt.
Of course, a lot of people know me as Map to Success. I've got a little bit of connections, Bitcoin Ben, crypto mug investors. I'm not sure if you know about those guys, but they're a pretty cool bunch from over there in the UK. And one of your boys, Crypto Mentor 99, he actually did like one of my very first interviews to get me out there on the platform.
Nice.
But I actually started in crypto in roughly like the fourth quarter of 2017, when the whole phase was like booming and everybody was running around, talking about Lambos and going to the moon and all that type of stuff. Of course, now it's like a whole different story, but
Yeah, all them people disappeared, man. Only the real soldiers are left.
yeah. So I was like, back then, I didn't know anything about the space. I was just like a regular old, working hard, going to the 9 to 5, still on the grind, but I still got the plans in the works like everybody else. I'm basically like driving to work, watching videos, going through different crypto channels, and I saw you came up as a recommendation. So I was like, oh, it's pretty cool, because I was like, my mind was like a sponge at that phase. I was trying to take in as much information as possible. So I was just running around, just watching as much videos that says crypto as possible, so I had like a couple of channels that I was tuning into, but I think more so your vibe, the authenticity of the way that you run your channel and the way you do your videos on a whole, that just kind of like I was just gravitated to it, because I was like, oh yeah, this dude is pretty cool. He's from D-Town,
Yes,
doing this thing.
Yes, sir. Repping the D
repping
all
it.
day. You know it.
Yeah.
So because you came in at the height of the whole crypto mania thing, was your intentions more so to kind of secure a bag really quickly and just see what you could get, or were you intrigued by the actual technology and what it could possibly do, or did you kind of learn the power of cryptocurrencies after getting into the whole space because of the, all the hype and the Lambos and all of that?
Actually, I first got into the space more so of the tech than anything else,
Okay. All right.
because I was actually looking at something where I was like, what could these people possibly do to like bridge the gap between transacting money from one part of the planet to the next, and not have to worry about paying all these humongous fees and
Right.
straining your pockets and having to do the same repetitiveness over and over again, and people just like constantly complaining about Western Union, MoneyGram, and those other remittances,
Correct.
just like robbing folks on the daily, every day. Because I was just amazed. I'm not even gonna lie, I was blown away. I was like, what is this? I had never seen anything like that a day in my life. Then I began like doing more and more research on it. And I took the whole red pill just like everybody else, went down the rabbit hole. And I just started digging deeper and deeper into it. And the more I digged into it, the more I was amazed and shocked at what this simple piece of technology could actually do. Because I was looking at it and I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. like just imagine what you could do with this. And this was just Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I didn't even know anything about Ethereum then,
Mm-hmm.
or anything else like, that people had talking about, like, before all that stuff. I was just focused on Bitcoin and trying to learn what this stuff is about, because I saw it, like, it kept on coming up in the like in recommendations and stuff, but it was always coming up on YouTube when I was watching other videos. That's when I knew nothing about it. I didn't hear anything about it. I didn't know what it was.
Gotcha.
But when it actually started coming out slowly and I started doing more research on it, I was like, oh, okay, so this was what everybody was talking about. But I didn't pay
Gotcha.
attention. If I had actually knew about that, it would have been a total different story now. I probably would have been had a Lambo and stuff, but
Ah, hey, it's
but
all good, man.
but
It's still early, you know. A lot of
yeah,
people are catching on to it, but they still don't own any, you know.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's going to be interesting in the next 2 to 3 years, where the prices of these coins, some of these coins, are going to be. So, are you? It looks like you're a millennial. You know, what's your background? Are you tech, more technical, or are you? What's kind of your background and line of work?
I mean, my background in line of work was always about like learning more about the ledger technology, just the whole underlying technology and like payments on a whole. So
Gotcha.
I come from a background of tech. I've always been working with computers. I've
Okay.
been that way since I was like 12 years old growing up. A lot of people would look at that as like being a young genius, but I'm like, I try not to flatter myself with none of that stuff. But I
Right.
try, I try to learn as much as I could, and I grown and evolved over time as far as that goes, and it just transitioned into cryptos that made it like it just took itself to the next level.
So what's wrong with today's society? I'm a millennial too, kind of toward the upper end of it.
Mhm.
What do you see? I always like to kind of ping other millennials because it's so different than when our parents were growing up. You know, they had a blueprint, right? Go to college, get your degree, get you a
Yeah,
job, you're gonna be good. Wife, picket fence, dog, boom, kid, it's all good from there, right?
yeah.
What do you see wrong with today, man? Society and where I feel like we as millennials, we're in a juxtaposition where it's like we're being pulled by both ends. You know, we're trying to. A lot of us are trying to still do the traditional route to have a career,
Mhm.
but then you have the other ones that are smartening up. They're like, oh, wait a minute, that path is not working out like it used to. The ROI is just not there anymore. So, what
Yeah.
do you see in today's society for millennials? What's the issues that we have to face, and what are the solutions in your opinion?
Well, quite frankly, I think today, like a lot of millennials just have just a whole lack of exposure to a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different things. Because even in the whole crypto sphere as a whole, I've seen where so many different startups are being built like on the daily, every day. And they're just coming out with some new ideas where I'm just like, wow. I I could have I could have thought of that, but because I didn't really have like that background in coding, but it was more so of like from a hardware perspective and the software perspective, not in the actual coding by itself. You know, a lot of people were able to like beat a lot of different people to the punches with different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that millennials, some of them are really trying hard to go through with the whole traditional route, going to college, getting a job, doing the 9 to 5, working at the office. And then some of them are like, I'm just not trying to do that. I'm trying to start my own business, you know, maybe try to do something blockchain related, being that it's a new hot up and coming trend. A lot of people see it as being the future. And some people are just like, okay, I'm stuck. I don't know which way to go. I don't have the knowledge of this. Neither do I know anything to do with like going to college, or I just flat out can't afford it. so they just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many different ways to get yourself out there. Like even with like doing some meetups, it's good to have some meetups going out there, communicating with other people, you know, doing that like consecutively, like over and over again, you'll actually meet some pretty cool people and you would be able to get like yourself in the right direction. Because
Right.
there are so many different peoples out there that, they just look for young folks to just help set them in the right direction and at least have a plan to do something, you know what I mean? At least
Mm-hmm.
to better themselves. So I'm like, I'm trying to put together some crypto startups because I'm working with this dude Johnny Litecoin from the Litecoin Foundation, and I'm trying to have some meetups set up where people could learn more about payment processing and how you actually get the advantages of using cryptos for payments, other than just trying to run around and use a whole credit card system every day, and people are getting like, just messed up over their heads about the whole fees and situations with that. But it's definitely looking a whole lot better than it was 10 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
as far as I could see, because more and more millennials are getting more and more opportunities that they never heard of or they never knew existed in the first place. And it's actually giving them hope, to tell you the truth. So even if you never go to college or if you never get the opportunity to even afford to pay for a semester, you can still grow up and you can still be successful. All you have to do is just think of a plan, put yourself out there, try to get in front of the right people, and you just got to keep pushing. You just got to keep grinding because without that, what's the purpose? You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
I mean,
no
what's
excuse nowadays for millennials not to succeed at some capacity because of the age of the internet, and you've got
yeah,
information at your fingertips. You can
hmm
learn whatever you need to learn for the most part if you're a go-getter, and I
yeah,
think those individuals will flourish. And we're in a gig economy type of uh, economy now. We're in a gig economy now, and so from Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, Grubhub. It's just so many one-off
yeah,
type of scenarios where you can earn
yeah,
a little money, but at the same time, in my opinion, though, Map, I think it's the gift and the curse because now it flattens the playing field where everyone's just trying to hustle for a dollar. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And so,
yeah,
and you got technology eking up at even those jobs. And in the next 5 years,
yeah,
10 years, you probably only have Uber and Lyft drivers because of the
yeah,
autonomous driving. So
yeah,
it's
yep,
always evolving. You got to stay quick and agile,
mhm,
in my opinion. So tell
yep.
me a little bit about this whole map to success, man. I'm looking at your Twitter page right now. I see a map. I see it. I see a road going to Digibyte. What's this about, man? I mean,
It's different,
yeah.
right?
What's this Digibyte?
Oh
You think
man.
it's gonna be the next Bitcoin, or what's going on with
I
that
mean,
whole thing?
as far as that goes, I would just put that as being Digibyte being Bitcoin's little cool brother on the block. You know what I mean?
Okay.
He's just kicking it, just being his own thing, trying to build a name for himself. Because Bitcoin is already king, as we all know. Ain't nothing gonna be able to replace that. But at the same token, you got there's other blockchains out there that are actually doing really well, and Digibyte is one of them that I chose to stick with, like for quite some time. And I know for sure you had a little bit of stash at Digibyte at one point.
I did. I
You
still, I still may have some dust. I still
yeah.
have some dust. May still
Hey,
have a little
look,
dust at Digibyte.
look, you never go wrong with keeping a little bit of Digibyte around, my brother.
Nah, nah.
Because
So
it's
tell me
like,
why Digibyte, man. I like all the projects, but my whole thing has been because I've seen the wave 1.0 of altcoins where you've had all these different coins out there, WorldCoin, Namecoin,
Yeah.
even Dogecoin was in that first wave of altcoins. It kind of got a second life here, but
Yeah.
why Digibyte, and will it, like, what differentiates Digibyte from, let's say, a Litecoin or any of these other altcoins that are being used as a actual cryptocurrency?
Well, as far as Digibyte goes compared to those other coins out there, I would say what attracted me to it mostly is because not only is it like faster with on points of like block times, because it comes with like 15-second blocks, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
but with with other scale and stuff like that, we've seen that Ethereum and Bitcoin, of course, have like huge scaling problems as far as doing transactions per second and people just going crazy, pulling their hair out. And it's like with Digibyte, it's so much quicker. And it's amazing what they could pull off on chain in spite of, like, from being a coin that a lot of people don't know about, they've been really making some serious headway in the community. And it's like one of their main aspects that really pulled me to it also was like the fact that it's focused on security.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually fully focused on being a payment processing mechanism. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's basically trying to cover the whole sphere of security. And we have like a lot of breaches over the years, especially with Facebook and a whole lot of other places where people have just been losing their information and just being blackmailed and all different types of crazy stuff. Digibyte is here to basically solve that, and they're definitely getting there.
And I've said this in a couple of videos. You can have a coin that has all the bells and whistles that are actually better than even Bitcoin, even Litecoin or whatever. But what
Hmm.
will it take for Digibyte to win over the masses? You know, people tend to look at what is the brand name and what they can identify with right off the bat, instead of, maybe some of the better bells and whistles of a technology. So how do you think we'll see in the next 2 to 3 years Digibyte evolve and really take market share from, let's say, a Litecoin?
Well, I think they'll definitely improve when people start understanding more and more of what they're trying to pull off. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to have people have the opportunity to log into stuff without even remembering a password. That by itself is huge
So
because we all,
let's go into that a little bit more. So give us a scenario of how that works without a seamless login.
yeah. So basically, what it does is they have this thing that's called digi-id,
Okay.
and it's been developed by this company called Atom-ID, and they're
Mm.
working and integrating it into browsers. I think their last integration was just done a couple of days ago, and Microsoft actually approved it. So Microsoft is on board, and anything that Microsoft is on board with, people are going to hear about it sooner or later because it's definitely going to be stirring up a storm. They've actually been, I think they've actually been included in the Block 30 labs, and they've actually been just growing and getting on so many different exchanges. And the exchanges that they're getting on, they're actually trying to work with them so they could have digi-id incorporated into logging into their website. But in addition to that, you don't necessarily need to have it like absolutely integrated with the site to use it, because they have a working product where you could download just a simple add-on on your browser, and you could just log into any past, like anything that you've actually forgotten, it could log into it. And it's just by a simple scanning of a QR code. You scan the QR code, and it basically does all the rest for you.
So
All
are
you're
you
doing,
able to use this with, like, Chrome? Is this something you can use in Chrome?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
plug in.
It's now available for all the browsers. It's available
Nice.
for Chrome,
Brave
for
browser.
Brave browser,
Ah, there we go.
for all of those, and they've actually been approved for from all of those browsers. So they've got to be doing something right.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm
And
gonna have to
that's
check that part out. I didn't even know about. There's so many coins, bro, that I
yeah,
don't even try to keep up with everything because I'll go
it
crazy. I wouldn't have enough
yeah,
time to be a husband or a father. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So yeah,
exactly,
that's interesting.
exactly.
That's interesting.
Exactly, because it's like all you got to do is just find the best projects that you believe in, stick to it, and just, just stick to it, and just try to keep on going with all the news and activities that they have going on. Because they just had the Digibyte Summit, the first Digibyte Summit. It just actually happened over the weekend, and I heard it went great. It went terrific. Jared Tate was there. This other guy, Rudy Bauman. They have some other folks over there from Australia that came through. Josiah Spackman. It was some pretty big names there, especially in the Digibyte community, and it definitely went well. They had a very good time. I heard it went well.
Nice, nice. So, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. You guys check out that whole digi-id aspect of Digibyte. Seems very interesting. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. I'm gonna have to
yeah.
check that out, man.
It is.
What other projects are you interested in right now?
I mean, of course, I've always been interested in Litecoin from the get-go.
Okay.
That was like one of my first projects that I invested in. Like after I invested in Bitcoin, that's the next thing that I started doing research on. And because I got pulled into the masses from the whole situation. Everybody was saying Litecoin is going to be the future of payments, and everything else is just going to be dead.
Oh
And it's
man,
you know,
I
but
love
it's
my Litecoin family. That was my second. That was actually my second crypto that I ever
yeah,
purchased myself and started
yeah,
mining Litecoin. That was the first mining coin I mined, but
yeah,
the second, definitely the second I purchased. But I don't think it's going to take over as some payment gateway, and all the other ones are going to be put into the what do you want to call it, crypto graveyard. I don't see that happening, just simply because I think most people are going to just use like some type of hybrid debit card crypto linked system, so you'll be able to pay and purchase things with any cryptocurrency, and it'll just be settled
yeah,
in the back end. But there, it's funny how markets work, and this is as close to a free market that we've seen in maybe a decade or two. So we never know how the free market is going to price all of these other altcoins. So I think you should definitely have some Litecoin,
yeah,
Digibyte,
yeah.
and spread out the risk and not just be all
Yeah.
weighted in Bitcoin. But
Yep.
you'll be pleasantly surprised to see what
Hmm.
happens once things starts rolling out and more money flows into the ecosystem.
Yeah, because they have this exchange that just opened up not too long ago. It's called CoinBook. I don't know if you heard of it, but you should check it out. They have like a pretty interesting trading aspect of it. Like the
Okay.
way they do it is they actually have where you could invest in like a block 3 or a block 5, and Digibyte is actually one of those coins that are integrated in there. So you could make one investment, it'll automatically spread it out throughout like 3 different projects or 5 different projects, and you could see like a diversified return of all those 3 coins or all those 5 coins combined. You know what
I've
I'm
heard of
saying?
some other company, a lady I met out in Vegas that was looking to do something like that. Yep, I've heard of that concept.
Yeah,
I haven't messed with that one though in particular.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this here Beats coin. I'm an ex-producer. I used to make music. Had a production
Yeah.
company back in the day.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually make a little bit of music too.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All right. What are
yeah.
you using? You using still using Fruity Loops nowadays, or Reason, or what are you using?
I mean, well, for me, I use this program that's called Traction. I think it's Traction 4,
Never heard of it.
something like
Okay.
that. But it's one of those, I guess, one of those alternative programs to Fruity Loops. But it's been working pretty good for me. It's working pretty good. I got a mixtape that I put out. I gotta send you a link to it so you can check it out.
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
have to put it on the channel, man. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely,
yeah, got some
absolutely.
pretty good music on there.
Nice,
Pretty
nice.
good music.
So tell me
Yeah,
about this here Beats coin. It's on TRON, EOS
yeah,
little sister
yeah.
blockchain. No, I'm throwing a little shot there, but tell me about Beats coin, man. How
Yeah.
are they going to what are they setting out to do? I don't know much about it. I know
I
you
mean,
mentioned it.
I mean, as far as I'm reading so far, because I'm still doing a little bit of research on it, but from what I've gathered, is they are trying to make a lot of groundbreaking moves as far as
Bizarre from
yeah.
D12. That is hilarious. I've met Bizarre a few times, and then we got McAfee as an advisor. Good
Oh
God,
boy.
this is a
It's
what a
gonna be
group of
something, right?
advisors we have here on Beats Coin.
Oh boy. They have a roadmap that you could check out, but they're really trying to do some pretty big stuff as far as I could tell. They're trying to compete like they're really trying to compete with like all the major top distribution systems out there. Like YouTube, they're trying to compare themselves to Napster and SoundCloud and a couple of other streaming websites and apps out there. They're trying to be among the best. Actually, they are trying to be the best because they have like a comparison of what it is that they're trying to do and what the other companies aren't doing. So they're supposedly they're supposed to have like 95% going back to the content creators, and 5% I guess is going to be distributed back to the company. And then they have streaming is free. It gives you opportunity to earn and so much more. It's just amazing what I've seen. I'm just waiting on the product to come into completion so we could see what they're actually working on.
See,
Because
here's the
we,
thing, man. It does sound like a great idea.
Mhm.
I've started and founded a number of businesses, and what I've found, two tech startups, what I've found is that it's not the idea. It's not even the execution of the idea. It's the timing,
Yeah,
and the timing is the number one aspect um, of a very successful business idea. It's all about the timing because you take Amazon. Amazon's timing
Mhm.
was slightly off. That's why
Yeah,
they stayed at a penny or a dollar stock for a decade or more. But then things
hmm
changed and the infrastructure was there and was built for them to be able to scale and do things how they're doing it now. So it's all about timing with me. And there are so many great ideas out here, especially on the
yeah,
blockchain. It's just
yeah.
about timing, man. And I don't know which one is going to be the one that has the perfect timing, the
hmm
perfect business partnerships to make this happen. Music is a hard one. That's going to be a tough one to crack.
Yep.
That industry is like so crazy, but it's we're seeing it happen. We're seeing it change. We're seeing it
Yeah.
being disrupted every year. So we'll have to
Yep.
see, man. I'll have to check out this Beats coin at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy the way they actually did it because like even the board of advisors is like a weird bunch, but you know a lot of people might be looking at it and be like, wait, what? Uh John McAfee?
Yeah,
What
that
does he have to do
bizarre. What in the? I don't know any of these other people, but God, that those two right there is like,
Oh
okay,
boy.
all right,
Wow.
yeah,
That was like, I don't know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's
So,
been
what are your thoughts for the rest of this year in the blockchain industry, cryptos? What are your thoughts? Final thoughts on 2019, man? You think we're coming out of that bear market, or? We
I
got a little bit
think
longer to go.
I think we definitely have a lot of room to grow. It's been nothing but straight nonstop development in the space, and it's just growing. That I would put it this way: the development is definitely overtaking the price, and
Yes.
a lot of people have been so caught up in the whole wave with, oh, I'm gonna get this much returns out of that coin, and I'm gonna get this much return out of this one, and I'm just gonna keep making 5x, 10x every single week type of thing. It doesn't go like that. And a lot of people
It's
found out that,
unsustainable. Yep.
a lot of people figured that out the hard way after the whole 2017 boom and the bust of 2018 that a lot of people are still like physically scarred about for like quite some time in the future. you know and it's gonna be like pretty crazy, and it's gonna be a wild ride. I could tell anybody, if you're willing to hollow it through, you will definitely reap the rewards, but you have to be patient. It's not gonna be, or never was intended to be, a get rich quick scheme that a lot of people thought that it was supposed to be from the get go. It's something that you look at in terms of, you put a little bit in here and there, you save up what you can afford to put in. Don't take your rent money. Don't take your car
Exactly.
payment. Don't take your kids' tuition
Mm-hmm.
and dump it into that stuff, because it's never gonna work the way you think.
Yep. Normally doesn't.
It's,
That's very good
it,
advice.
yeah, it's like the number one thing to being a good investor is patience. And a lot of people don't have that these days. That's why all the people that have actually made millions of dollars today, that's been hodling Bitcoin from like $5, $10, are like well off today.
Yep. Absolutely.
They've they've actually figured it out that, look, I'm just gonna wait it out. I don't care what happens to the price. I'm just gonna keep it, set it somewhere safe, just not worry about it. I might check up on the price from now and then from time to time to see what's going on with it, just to stay on in the loop a little bit. But you have some people that are just like, oh, what's going on today? What's going on tomorrow? Next week, 2, 3 weeks from now, and they're just literally like glued to the screen and all that stuff, and they're just constantly just be on the prices. That's like, if you're trying to be a hodler, you can't be focused on the prices too much, because that would definitely mess with your emotions.
Well, there you
Because
have it, people. My man, Map to Success, man. I appreciate you coming on to this Kicking It session with Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. I'm out of here, people. Holla!